Hunter.
Hey, Kevin, I'm working on a little bit of a different story about the evolution of coaching staffs. And do I understand correctly that you have a little bit more of a coordinator-based staff this season with the new staff coming in?
What do you mean by that? Is how we do things? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a new staff, and I obviously I'm doing it a little bit different than I have in the past. Meaning, I've taken a little bit of the football analogy and got guys who are on the offensive side, meaning offensive coordinator and how do we score against teams, and then I've got a couple of my guys who concentrate really on how do we defend. And so it's actually worked out well for me. It's something different that I've never done in the past, but it's really been good because it keeps everybody engaged in every game that we play.
Yeah. So I guess the obvious question there is, you like what it's done for you. Is there any regret that you didn't do this earlier?
No, because we've had great years where we did it a little bit different. But I think it's important that you evolve, and as we go along, you got to give different things. And I think, when I added a new staff, which my other staff I thought was really good too, but it gave me different energy, and I wanted to take advantage of doing something different because I had new folks. With the other guy other coaches was more being consistent to what they had done and what they were really good at.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Con.
We'll go next to James Henderson. Go ahead, James.
Hey, Kevin, hope you're doing well. I was interested, you guys have had a lot of success this year, and you're getting towards the end of the year where the goals, I think, become clearer for your team. Is that easier from a motivational standpoint as a coach, as you've kind of gotten through a lot of the year to where now you understand what's ahead of you as a player to kind of motivate those guys?
James, it's even though I got a little bit more of a veteran group, I took the opportunity about 2 weeks ago, maybe even not even 2 weeks ago, to say we had 6 games left, and it was a 6-game season, regular season. And that was probably as far as I looked ahead with this group, because we typically just concentrate on the next game. So I know our goals have changed, but you can't reach your goals or attainable if you don't win the next game or put yourself in a great situation to win the next game. So I really, going into Carolina, we didn't talk about anything other than here's an opportunity to get a quad 2 win against a good team. And, unfortunately, the way things are set up because of the net, everything is about quads. No matter who you play, you got to figure out, is it a quad? It's either going to be a good win or a bad loss. And so in our situation, I haven't looked at, hey, you can achieve this, or we can get here, or talk about this. We concentrate on this way they can do to your net in order to get to a quad win.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Corey Smith, go ahead.
Hey, Kevin, hope you're doing well. Wanted to ask you, obviously, you get a win over UNC yesterday, have a chance to win against Wake Forest later this week, and then another matchup against Duke next week. Obviously, any win is important, but how important are the in-state wins to not only building your program inside of the state of North Carolina, but also, when it comes to things like recruiting and bringing the fan base back too?
I will start with one part of it. The recruiting part of it is a little bit different. Probably Wake Forest and us, we probably recruit the state a little bit harder, I would say. Now, there could be some disagreement in that. Depends on who you talk to. As far as our fans, and, obviously, I'm tickled for our fans because, obviously, they get have a chance to go to work today or tomorrow. Obviously, most of off today, and have a chance to have a little bragging rights. I'm happy for our kids. Whether we say it or not, our kids read that stuff, and they grew up playing AAU against a lot of the players that may play in state. But as far as winning, is it more important to win in state? I don't say it's more important. I say each year presents a different thing because it just depends on, who's a hot team and what their quads are, and certain teams that you have to win in order to put yourself in a great situation. And not to diminish a win against Carolina or Duke, because I think they all are important. But at the end of the day, the system has changed the way you look at everything,
I also wanted to, as a follow-up, ask you, among the in-state guys that you had on this team, obviously guys like Jaquavion Smith, Greg Gant, several others that you have on this team, what did this win mean a little bit more to them to be able to beat UNC and already have, wins over every in-state team now at this point in the ACC?
Yeah, I don't know, Corey. We may have to get Craig to set you up with a call with those guys and ask them, but we didn't, we never said, I'm not one of those people, hey, did they recruit you or they didn't recruit you and you should play harder. We believed in what we have on our roster and we know we got some guys that are ready to go. So I couldn't make that a statement. I do know Levi told to Quavion, if he didn't win the game, he probably couldn't come back to Raleigh because he hadn't beat Carolina. So I think, maybe that was something, a little motivation piece for him. And he was completely joking with him, but I thought that was funny for him to say that to him.
All right. Thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Luke DeCock, go ahead.
Kevin, good morning. We're going to Greensboro for the ACC tournament this year, Washington next year. Beyond that, is there any place the tournament hasn't been or hasn't been in a while that you would like to see it go to? Any new sort of cities or places like that?
That's a good question. What about, and you tell me this because I don't know this, have we been to Charlotte? Have we been back to Charlotte in a while?
Not since 2019.
Okay. I'm gonna make my pitch for Charlotte. I like I like Greensboro because it's close to us and have no problem with DC. To be quite honest with you, Luke, I have no problem wherever you go. Especially if you're seated high enough and put you in a good situation. But I think Charlotte is growing, and I think it's a good place for everybody to be able to go and enjoy themselves and, be able to hang out and have great dinners and go to bars and then go to the game. And reason being is because they've already got it set up for an NBA team.
Good. Thank you.
Yep.
We'll go to Mike Barber.
Hey, Kevin, I know Armando had a double-double, but it wasn't his most dominant game against you guys, 6 for 14 and only 1 assist. What did you like in the way that you defended him?
Oh, Mike, I'm happy as I don't know what. I mean, the guy's put up video game numbers against us. I mean, he 23 and 18. I mean, I didn't like that at all. And I think he had 16 if I'm right. And he had to take 14 shots to get there. And I was happy with that. Look, Armando Babcock is a really good player. He's tough to guard. He puts a lot of pressure on your defense. Even the shots that he missed, he tend to get back and score. And so for him to have to take that many shots to get 16 points, and most people would be very disappointed that you gave up 14 rebounds, but I'm actually excited about it. We cut his rebounds by 4 and his points by 7, and he still had a great day.
Thank you.
Yep.
Last question will come from Royal Howell. Go ahead, Royal.
Good morning, Coach. I hope you're doing well. Coach, for Jarkel, can you just speak on just how influential he's been in mentoring Terquavion, on and off the court? He's been, he's a full-time father, full-time player, community work, however you want to classify it. He's just a great on and off the court player. How influential has it been for him to mentor the young guys and just progress with this season, coming off of a double-digit losing season last year to, potential Final Four contender this year?
We don't have a lot of 5-star guys or McDonald's All-American guys on our roster out of high school, but I do think we got one in the transfer portal, if you want to say. I don't know that I could have got a better combination of a player to lead your team than Jarkel Joyner. He has been great for Terquavion as an older guy who's been through it. He's allowed Terquavion Smith to be Terquavion Smith and never complain about if he takes a shot. They have developed a great bond. One of the things, they've thrown that alley-oop from Terquavion to Jarkel 5 times this season and never worked. And it actually worked against Carolina. And boy, you thought they were 2 kids in the candy store. They were so excited. But he's been great for our locker room. He's been great for our program. I'm going to try to figure out if I can get him another year through some type of petition to get him back, because you don't find kids like that that is willing to sacrifice on some given nights his ability to score to help his team win. And I mean, he was tremendous against Carolina.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, we will bring on Hubert